We will get started. It's 12:01, so I think that we have most of our people here, and I'm really excited about this. If you have not had a chance to check out the tobacco rules update, please take a minute to do that. Uh, I think Christy's been really good to keep us informed on that, and that's a really important issue that we want to stay on top of. So make sure that you're following that. If you they had a deadline, I think, of April 15th for public comment, but I think that's still being discussed. So if you want to voice in that, reach out. And Jamie, thank you for sending that information out consistently to everyone. We appreciate that. So with another thing I just thought I would throw out there, if you guys, because you're all brilliant minds and good prevention people, I've had some questions from some of my school counselors in the area on how to gracefully help their students transition back from COVID. And so I don't know if all the other school districts are similar to ours, but we are back full swing and our students are testing and they're feeling incredibly overwhelmed because the accommodations are not the same as they were at the beginning of the year. When we were making concessions because of COVID. And so the counselors are feeling a bit overwhelmed with a lot of the mental health issues that students are feeling. So if you've got good ideas, they're asking for ideas, and I would love to be able to push some of that information out to them and maybe share it with other members of the coalition who may be having some of the same kinds of requests. So if you've got things, we want to get upstream and start helping these students as they come back into their normal crazy routines. Yeah, and hopefully maybe they will learn how to let a few things go. That might be one of the things that they need to learn with that. But anyway, I will quit talking, and I'm excited to turn the time. I think we'll hear from Mary first from Summit County CTC. And then we'll just go straight to Nicole. Is it Countham? Countham? How do I say your last name, Nicole?
It's Coon Tom. So raccoon and Tom Sawyer, Coon Tom.
Oh, Coon Tom. Okay. What's the origin of that?
My husband's from Laos.
Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize for mispronouncing that. Might not have been the only one. But so we'll just, after Mary talks about how they are transitioning their coalition back from COVID and re-engaging, then we'll turn the time over to Nicole and we'll give you each about 20 minutes. So thank you so much. Excited to hear.
Yep. Thank you. So happy to be here with all of you in the squares like we've been doing all year. I'm wondering, can you make me co-host? I brought a PowerPoint and a couple things I'd love to share with all of you.
Are you not able to share right now?
Let's see, maybe I am able to share. I am.
Okay.
And make sure that you are signing the roll. Sorry to interrupt that, Mary.
That's okay.
It's in the chat.
I will make sure to do that. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, I am Mary Krista Smith, and I am the Communities That Care Director in Summit County, Utah, which encompasses Colville, Hennifer, Camas, Oakley, Park City, and our coalition was founded in 2017. And so we're kind of new here in the state of Utah. So I'm really grateful to meet those who I haven't ever met before in the squares today. And I am happy to share with you what we've tried and been working with since COVID, as far as keeping our coalition engaged and moving forward. You know, there's a saying, never let a good crisis go to waste. And so we've been trying not to let this crisis go to waste. And it's honestly forced us to do some things that we had talked about doing in the past or thought about doing. But it gave us some time to rethink our approach. And so I'll share some of that with you today. And also it helped us get off our hamster wheel of this is the way it's always been done. And so we're just going to keep doing it this way. So for that, I've been really grateful, and it's been a very challenging year. We have had schools were closed from March of 2020 until August, and we've been in school full time as a county since then. And I have to tell you, as a mother, I am so grateful that that is the case. My son goes to Ecker Hill, which is a middle school here, and they've never had to close down because of COVID spread in the school. The high school shut down twice for 2 weeks each, and that's it. And I think that that was also true in Colville and in Camas, that their high schools also shut down just once or twice each. So we've been proof of concept that with wearing masks and really robust protocols in the school, that kids can be in school. So that's been something I've been really grateful for, and especially for the mental health needs of our kids. I always like to share how we frame the work of our coalition. Our mission is to collaboratively improve the lives of youth and families by fostering a culture of health through prevention. So that is our guiding light. That is our North Star in everything that we do. And in thinking about what we were going to say yes and no to this year, and how we were going to move forward, an approach that we've taken internally and externally is to really focus on our values as the filter about what we said we would say yes and no to, and how we were going to shift. And so our strategy came from our values. So I always like to start our meetings. I do this in every coalition meeting and every presentation I ever give. I talk about the values that our coalition has identified and embodied. Compassion, we come from a place of love and care. We seek to understand and empathize. Integrity, we practice what we preach. We talk to each other and not about each other. You'd be amazed, I'm sure you're not surprised in coalition work, the challenge sometimes of that. Commitment, we don't just talk, we act. Equity, we know our health and well-being is impacted by social and economic opportunities. And finally, collaboration. We know that the solutions to our problems lie within our community. So in thinking about equity and inclusion, we've had an opportunity for our team this year to partake in a social equity cohort training for the entire, it's a year-long process, and there are two staff. There's me and our communication and project specialist, Heather, and she and I are both involved in this cohort. And it includes nonprofit leaders, local government leaders, school district leaders, business leaders. And so when we think about embedding equity and inclusion into everything we do, we use this framework and we ask ourselves the question, who is being included and who's being excluded, who's being served and who's being underserved, who's being resourced, who's being exploited, who's being validated, and who's being oppressed. So I share with you this framework because it's really been helpful for us in running our initiatives through this process to look at and decide what we're going to say yes and no to and how. So we haven't met in person since February of last year. And I have to say that's my favorite part of our coalition work, is being in the same space with the wonderful people in our community. And it's been a challenge. And so one of the things that we've invested in this year is doing a lot of work that has happened digitally. And so in the spirit of collaboration and the spirit of, I'm going to share collaboration with our partners, I wanted to share with you our website and some of the things that we've done here. You were asking, what are some resources for kids and families and schools and going back to school? I would point you to our Redefining Student Success in the Age of COVID webinar. This is something that we partnered with our local education foundation. It's available on our website. And there's a blog here. And if you were to go also in, let's say, it's in our blog and the video is there too. So we have a number of resources that are available in our blog space. Some of you may have come to a series we did with Heidi Peterson Dutson in the last couple of months on social development strategy. And one of those that has been so delightful to me in this work and thinking about providing resources and equity and inclusion is these videos. Zoom is amazing. We could never figure out how to best record and capture stuff before Zoom. And now we record all of our webinars and trainings. And so it's automatically uploaded into our YouTube. And the web person who helps me, they transcribe it into English or transcribe it in English and then translate it into Spanish. So when we're thinking about offering things both in Spanish and English, because 25% of our families in Park City are Latinx, this is a way we've been able to embody our values of collaboration as well as equity and inclusion. So a thing that we've done to build collaboration, because we aren't necessarily face-to-face with our coalition members in the way that we like to be, is through our community calendar. And I can see, my web person is working on it today. So my apologies, that's not a good example, but we have a community calendar where our coalition members can go in and submit their event. And this allows us to share it in our newsletter, through our social media, at our upcoming coalition meetings. So it's a way in which we've really tried to support them in this work. So those are a couple things from our website that we have chosen to do, both recording stuff, translating it into Spanish, translating all of our newsletters into Spanish, and providing content that's honestly been viewed more times than attendees we used to get in person, because people can be at home and having a snack at their desk and they can access it there instead of having to get in their car and drive someplace to attend and to view it. So a couple other things that I would share. Even though it's hard in Zoom, I've been really diligent about being consistent with our meetings. We hold them every month. I send the agenda ahead of time. I send the minutes 24 hours after. We do breakout rooms and jam boards and all kinds of things to try and recreate that feeling that we would get in person. And it's kind of been this rudder, this stake in the ground to say we're still meeting even though it's going to be different. And I feel like that has been really, really important. There have been people who are now able to attend our meetings that were never able to in the past, especially in the more rural parts of our county. So I have not figured out how to best hold meetings on Zoom and in person, but that's certainly something that we're thinking about going forward because it's so important. We talked about equity and inclusion, the training for our staff, our webinars. And the other thing that we've been doing is really helping our coalition members build skills around collaboration, how to have tough conversations, how to assume positive intent. I don't know if you all have noticed this, but sometimes people feel like their toes get stepped on if one partner's working on something and someone else thinks that that's really their wheelhouse and their lane. We've really wanted to empower our coalition members to turn towards each other and have those tough conversations rather than chatting about it after the meeting. And we have taken a lot of guidance from Brene Brown and her Dare to Lead work that really helps organizations to do this work. And so COVID has allowed us to step back a little bit and do that. I have to say, one of the biggest hurdles for me personally and for our coalition has been the youth engagement this year and the ability to really see them face to face. I'd love to hear from all of you how you've been doing that, because even working with our club leaders and advisors, it's been tough. We we've held virtual meetings. I think the kids are zoomed out. We have, we're having a panel. We've had panel discussions with kids before. We're having them again. It's been tough. So I would really love to hear from all of you about what you've been doing. And I would also say finally that we continue to just forge ahead. We have a real commitment to continuing to invite people into the tent to make connections in the community and to grow our coalition. And we're very deliberate about that. And that work continues. And finally, we received the Drug Free Communities Grant this year. And for all of you who have received it in the past, it's such a blessing. And the onboarding of how to administer that grant is like, it's an unbelievable learning curve. So I have to say I'm grateful that we've been able to do that this year, because it is taking a lot of time to be able to do it. So that is the end of my presentation, but I'm happy to answer questions or hear comments. That was kind of fast and furious. Who supports my website? Okay, I'm looking in the chat. So the person who supports my website is a woman named Jill Sessa, and she's amazing. And her company is called Ultimate WordPress Help, and I put it in the chat. And I have to tell you, it's like the most miraculous thing that's ever happened. I originally was connected with her when we were doing our design, and I felt like I was just drowning in admin around uploading videos and converting them to blogs. I mean, drowning in it. That's all I was doing. And she's like, oh, we can do that on the back end. And so she has an automation that when I do a Zoom recording, it automatically dumps into a folder. It triggers an automation where her team goes in, pulls that out, sends me a Google Doc. I put in the title, I put in, the details that I want in the blog post. They take that video, they put in an intro and outro. They upload it to YouTube, they transcribe it, they translate it, and they upload it as a blog onto my website. And I don't have to do any of it. And it is absolutely miraculous. And I can't say enough about it. The cost to do that depends on how long it is. Longer webinars cost more, but I would say it's probably $25 to do it. And it's like the best $25 that I think we spend. So thank you for that question. I'm a big fan of Ultimate WordPress Help. How long are our meetings? Is it our coalition meetings, Mercedes? Are you asking about that?
Yes.
90 minutes. I feel like that's about the max that people can handle. And there's so much work to be done that, we pull in small group task forces. Right now, we are really working on our local conditions when it comes to youth substance use. And so I have a small but mighty data task force that is gathering for, a limited period of time. But in general, we meet on the first Monday, the first Tuesday of every month from 9 to 10:30 in the morning, except for December and July, because nobody wants to meet in September and July. And I've tried to be really super consistent about that. And what people tell me over and over again that they like about the meetings is not me talking. They want to talk with one another. They want to meet new people. They want to, feel that sense of connection and share that work. And so the breakout rooms have been really important. What's hard for me is I'm not in all of those breakout rooms. There's all kinds of conversation that's happening that gets reported back to the large group. But when it was in a building, in a space, I could circulate and I could listen, and I miss that. But we're doing the best we can.
Anybody else have any questions for Mary or related to what they're doing? Mary, that was excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to learning from all of you too, because, you know, it's been, I don't know, I've never been in a pandemic before. So I guess we're going to try some new things here. So we've been trying.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I loved the comment about never let a good crisis go to waste. I think that's something we can all adopt and learn from that. So that's great. If you think of questions while in between, then I'm sure that Mary will be happy to come back and address those after, and we will turn the time over to Nicole.
All right, I'll share my screen and hopefully do this right. Sorry. So PG Cares community, we're on Instagram and Facebook, and Tamara is actually the coordinator and I'm the assistant. She's doing a QVP training right now. So what we've been able to do, so our coalition actually started January of 2020, and then the pandemic hit. So we were at an awesome time to start a coalition, but we've taken a lot of the SHARP surveys and we gathered all that information the first several months and then came up with some objectives to focus on. Some of the resource assessment and partners that we've had, some of them are of course national and then the local chapters in Utah. Some of them are unique to just Pleasant Grove, like the Greenhouse Center for Growing and Learning, which is a counseling center. So that is unique to just Pleasant Grove. White Stage Recovery. And so we've been able to help, coordinate with these companies and do some amazing things. This month, and actually next week, we're gonna, with TYF, we're putting on a sexual abuse class that will be available Zoom. So since this is Sexual Abuse Month, it's going to be amazing in class. We had them come to our coalition meeting at the beginning of the month, and they did a couple of little mini classes to show us so we could help the coalition spread it out. So, and then these are some of the organizations that are evidence-based that we've actually ran with this last year. The QPR Institute, which is the suicide prevention, that's where Tamara is right now. She's teaching a Zoom lesson or a Zoom meeting for that. And we have those probably at least 2 or 3 times a month. And we have people from Pleasant Grove, but we also have people from all over that join those. And that suicide prevention awareness is an amazing. Right now we have the positive actions class going on for our elementary age kids, and I'm the one that was kind of took that one over. And we also have guiding good choices, which is for parents, support of parents, parenting guidance, hope, which is the Hope Squad, Everyday Strong, of course, Defend Innocence is going to be happening next week. We've also done the vape, which will start next month, and the Take Back the Drugs in our community is this Saturday. So just some of the things that we've done. We did a Chalk the Lot for our Strawberry Days. We're actually going to be involved in that again. We had a booth, and there's some of the pictures of the artwork that was done. We just set it up at the rec center, and families came, and we gave out information for United Way, and it was a COVID safe, friendly. That was this last summer when we were way more in the depths of COVID than maybe we are right now. But so that was a really fun event. Some of the other things we've done through the year is we helped with the PGHS Hope Squad Day, with Day of Hope. We did a trunk or treat drive-through. The city did, and they had different booths set up. So we had a booth set up, and we helped to hand out information and a treat for the drunk. That actually was probably one of our communities, one of the favorite things that they've done. We've never done a trunk or treat drive-through, but it was pretty fun. The kids really liked it, and we loved seeing the costumes with the kids outside, you know, hanging out the windows of their cars, showing us their costumes. So, oops, sorry. We've also set up some resources in some of the public places like the rec center and the police department. So this group is one of the small coalition groups that we were able to meet together and get the pamphlets and stuff information and put up at the rec center and police department. So this is the Guiding Good Choices, we just started this session, but this was because of the grant that we received, and we had 3 parts to the grant that we did. The Guiding Good Choices, which is a 5-week program that the parents go through. We provided dinner for the families and childcare for the kids that were under, I believe, 12 at the rec center. And we have, I believe, 6 families going through it right now as the first session, and then we'll have a second session. The training for this was pretty intensive. It's like 20 hours. So it took us a little bit of time to get this up and running. Some of the training was Zoom and some of it was in person. So, but it was, I actually didn't get to do the training because I was involved in the positive actions, but the people that have been doing it, they say it's an amazing thing. The other thing is the positive actions, and that is in 2 schools right now. We did an after school program as a pilot program just to get our feet in the door and see how it would work. And then we also have the underage vibe prevention campaign that will start next month. It's been a little bit of a struggle to get that going, but when it does, it's going to be amazing. So we have, they're like smoke detectors, but they're vape detectors in the bathrooms at the junior high and the high school and the rec department, and it's set up so that it will go off and alert a police officer, you know, on campus where it's going off, and then we'll have a prevention talk with that youth at that time. So that is thanks to the grant. Most of the money went to the vape and campaign that will be going off next month. So this is the positive actions. Just to tell you a little bit about it, the positive actions is based on the philosophy that when we feel good about ourselves, we do positive things. So this is the thoughts, actions, feelings circle that's moving here on the slide. Our thoughts lead to actions, and those actions lead to feelings about ourselves, which in turn lead to more good thoughts. So these are the 6 areas that the kids have learned about: the self-concept, positive action for your body and mind, managing yourself responsibly and treating others the way you like to be treated, and telling yourself the truth and improving yourself continually. Right now it's an 8-week program, so we have 8 weeks of it, and this last lesson was about treating others the way that you like to be treated, and it was really cool because they build on each other, the lessons, but the kids kind of broke out into groups and did role play, and it was really fun to see how they did 2 versions of something that was kind of a negative reaction and a positive reaction, and then how they changed it up and we talked about it. So it was a discussion group. It was probably one of my favorite ones that we've done so far. These are the 2 groups that we have, the Valley View and Growcrest Elementary. We have between 15 to 24 kids at each meeting that we do. And we just, so this is more about it. The after school program is completely free for the kids. It's 4 to 6 graders is the age that we focused on, and about 18 to 26 from each school. We have 3 facilitators per class, And so what we do is we have one main one that introduces the topic for the week. And then we have the two other ones. We have the kids break in half and spend 15 minutes with each teacher. And so we meet once a week. We have the 3 15-minute lessons. It's a 8-week program, and there's lots of discussion, lots of role play, and they have journals and they have books, workbooks that they work through. And the thing that I am lacking on is we were going to do a follow-up email, just letting the parents know what they've learned, but and that was my job, and I have not done that. So I'm hoping to still do it. These are just some of the statistics, the evidence-based that the Positive Actions has brought, not from this group per se, because it's a pilot program here, but in general, this was taken from their website. So, I mean, it's just, this is amazing stuff here. You know, they go over their bodies, so their hygiene increases, their sleep increases. We have a chart for the kids to record if they exercise 3 times a week and how they feel about it, and they have positive reaction from that. Their social, I mean, just even in just the short 4 weeks that we've been running this program, having the kids come every week, I can see the answers are deeper, more meaningful, more self-applied. And I think it's great that the prevention work is starting in an elementary. They do have programs all the way up to high school. They even have family programs, which as part of, we wanted to send out to the families. It's lots of free resources on their website. So this part of it, seeing these evidence-based has been amazing. And being a part of it and seeing it, and the kids themselves, you know, more confidence when they come in, their answers are deeper, they're not as afraid, you know, they're not shy and like reserved, they're more like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you about what happened this week to the kid that was being mean to me and how I took care of it. So it's been pretty cool. And this is a big one. This is our See Through the Vape campaign. We've been working with the police department and the county, and also what do you call them, advertisement committee, to be able to combat vaping, which we've seen a huge increase in Pleasant Grove over the last 2 years, according to the surveys, the SARS survey. So that will roll out next month, and it's been a huge undergoing. Lots of little committee meetings, mostly Zoom, things like that. And then of course this last slide is lots of Zoom meetings, right? Which is whatever. So for the majority, we still hold meetings. At first we were holding them all Zoom, and now our committee can meet in our city building, and it's a big room, and we're spaced out, so we are able to meet together in person. We meet once a month, and we have separate committees, of course, like where I was in charge of the Positive Action. I would meet with my 5 other people. We met in person most of the time to get this going. We wanted to start it in January, and I think we started it in February. So there was a lot of, like, from January to now, we had all these programs rolling out and going, and so we were really busy, and it's calmed down a little bit. But we have had the meetings in person, which has been nice. I think other than that, your presentation, Mary, was much better than mine. I was kind of just, yeah, that's what we've been doing. It's been awesome. Our committees have been awesome. Getting a coalition going at the beginning of COVID has been a struggle, but I'm sure it's just a different thing. Our website is still being worked on. I just feel like it's just not established quite yet. We still are kind of missing a lot of little pieces, and we're trying to get them going. So that's where our coalition is at, but I've loved it. I'll see if there's any questions. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the encouragement. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the partnerships that we've been able to forge and have, even through the COVID. I think Tamara's done an amazing job getting things like United Way and the positive action came from Blueprints, that website Blueprints. So it's all evidence-based. And so we were able to talk to a couple of people before to find out how they liked it. It's our goal for positive actions is to be in all the schools next year, either as a pilot program. We do have, in Valley View, we have the whole 5th grade team is going to have it in their classroom, and they're going to do it the whole year. And at Grove Crest, the whole 2nd grade team is going to do it through the year. So I'm really excited to see there's an intro, a survey before and a survey after to see the progression from the kids that take that throughout the year. We're hoping that the pilot program will get more interest in the other schools. So can you tell me about the facilitators? Yeah, so the facilitators at Grove Crest are teachers. And so it's like a 3-hour training that we did. We did do that through Zoom and recorded it. So we'll be able to train new facilitators for next year. At Valley View, we had one teacher that was interested and then 2 parents that work in the mental health that really wanted to give back to the community. So they became facilitators. I am trained as a facilitator so that I can sub if I need to, but the books are pretty much like word for word. It's really easy to walk in and be like, okay, I'm teaching about hygiene today. And then all the curriculum and all the like posters and anything that you need is part of your kit. So it's not like you have to come up with anything. The Grove Crest teachers, definitely, they are younger and do PowerPoints almost every single time. And the Valley View teachers, they are more experienced or mature. And so they they just kind of fly by the seat of their pants. I mean, they're both really good, but it's interesting to see the difference in the younger teachers that definitely want the PowerPoints to pull up the videos, and the older, more mature, more like me, mature, I guess, teachers that just kind of read it and have a really good discussion with the kids. They don't need the PowerPoints, but both ways have been amazing. It's been fun to be able to see both ways. If they implement in their classroom, it's just basically 1 lesson a week, and they'll have enough. You have to have 25 lessons for, what is that, validity? Did I say that right? I always say it wrong. But so that's about it, though. Is there any other questions I can answer for you?
It looks like there's one. How are you going to implement the anti-vaping campaign?
So that is, so we have brochures and propaganda, I guess you could say, that we are going to be contacting local businesses to put up and support the anti-vaping. Of course, the schools we've had meetings with the schools and the city council and everyone to talk about it. I'm not on that committee, so I don't quite know all the answers of how, but from what I understand is once we have the green light, then we're going to take it around to all the local businesses and have them put it up in their windows and send flyers home and have a training meeting for the parents, like a training night, to tell them, because until I started working with the coalition, I had no idea that vaping was such a huge problem. And I also sub in the school. And so being able to talk to the students, I mean, I didn't realize that kids with masks, it's very easy to hide it, actually, to smoke in the classrooms. They just cover their mouth, take a whiff, and then blow it back into their sleeve. I had no idea until I had seen it. I actually saw it in the classroom. And I was just like, oh, that is definitely a problem. So that's the plan on rolling out the at least what I know of. What I will be involved in is going around to the local businesses. Yes, I can definitely put my email in the chat. And I can get you in contact with Tamara too. She's probably the one that knows the majority of all of that. So, is there anything else? Okay.
Hey, awesome. That was awesome, Nicole. And congratulations on your new coalition. You guys have done a lot with, with that first year. That's a lot to do and a lot to accomplish. I particularly really loved from the positive action curriculum that graphic that shows the increase in protective factors and the decrease in risk factors. That so aligns with every single thing that we do in prevention. So that was I thought, a powerful graphic that we can share with parents, and it's such a powerful visual for people to see the actual progress that's taking place with students. So that's amazing. Anyone else have any questions for either Mary or Nicole?
I just have a question if anyone wants to comment on the ways then engaging with youth during COVID and what's working and how you're going about that. I'm curious to hear from you.
I know we've got coalitions that have been functioning somewhat sparsely, but they have been functioning. And I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but but it would be nice for people to share what they've been doing. I know it's been difficult in our area, but Abby's done a great job in keeping the kids engaged, even though I know it's been extra work for her. So if you're willing to share, that would be great.
Okay, so I run the Youth Coalition here in Washington County, and we have had a struggle getting kids on Zoom. I think they're just all zoomed out and they don't want, my experience has been they don't want to like take off of work or something to like hop on a Zoom. And so a lot of them are like working or doing other things, and it's not a priority because they're not going somewhere. And so we have tried to just engage them like through like having them create social media posts, and we've engaged them, you know, sending updates through email. And we've also done a lot of policy stuff. So the COVID stuff actually allowed us to focus a lot on the policy stuff. And so we were actually able to meet to do a virtual Capitol Hill Day with our representatives, but the kids got to meet in person. And that's really, I know that the kids, at least that I work with, they love those connections that they make with other kids. And so we've tried to keep them connected any way we can. We're actually meeting now in person just recently. And so we've had a lot more kids engaged, but we've tried to find ways that we can keep them engaged through having them create social media posts or keep them involved in, we did a bunch of like social media campaign videos that we had them involved in. And we're actually planning, now that we can, a little bit more of like fun activities, since they've been doing a lot of work and we haven't been able to do those fun things, just rewarding them with good food. And we're going to do a roller skating activity, I think, the next couple weeks. So really, I think just using the social development strategy, letting those kids be involved and know that they have a place on the coalition is important. Like giving them assignments and having them do things is important. And then also just rewarding them. So when we can, we get like I don't know, like a nice snack, or we do dinner or whatever we can for those kids when we can. So.
And I thank you so much, Abby. Sorry about throwing you under the bus. I've had the benefit of kind of watching from the sidelines what Abby's done to kind of keep those kids engaged. And I love that she really has implemented the social development strategy, even though they couldn't do physical rewards, during COVID. Those kids were still getting some rewards by the props that they were getting back from policymakers, and some of the attention they were getting from school, and the props they were getting from their advisors. So there are other ways to reward kids too, and then they are now able to give some of those physical rewards back to the kids. So thank you, Abby, for sharing that. Anyone else want to share what they've done? It looks like Karen said we've also had a student government volunteer and help at our events. And that's awesome, I think. Do you want to expand on that, Karen, at all? Maybe not. Oh, I'm not in the quiet room. Okay, fair enough. Well, my hat's off to all of you. If you're new, Nicole, I don't know that if you have had a chance to put and to add a web page to our super site. And so if not, reach out and we can hook you up there. We want to make sure that everyone has all of the advantages that the UPCA offers to all of our members. So if you don't have a page on that super site, reach out and we get you hooked up to RNR so they can help you out that way. But any other questions, comments? Thank you to our presenters today. Excellent information that we can all take home. For presentations, these are awesome. I agree. So, all right. Well, I love this networking opportunity that we have every month, and I just want to thank all of you for all the work that you're doing and for the things that you're doing to help build resilient and healthy kids in our community. So until next month, I guess we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thanks, Teresa.